Well, a new study shows something we already knew, that COVID deaths were overreported during the pandemic, and the COVID vaccine did not seem to have much of a benefit of slowing or stopping the pandemic as we know it. Why the pandemic stopped? Because governments decided that it could stop. That's what we know for sure now. Here is the study. I want to encourage you to seek it out for yourself. It's not a very catchy title there, but again, what we're looking at is correlation right now. So it's important to point that out. But most of the data that we have, when the media throws around things like, oh, the COVID vaccine worked or saved lives, most of that is pretty correlated too, and also very shaky. Now, what they did in this study is they researched 125 countries and their vaccination rollout programs. And what they found was, quote, no systematic or statistically significant trends showing that vaccination campaigns in 2020 and 21 reduced all-cause mortality. In fact, they were able to show that excess deaths went up and that those deaths that we saw could not be associated with COVID deaths. They calculated something new called death per injection, and they found this here highlighted on the screen. I'm going to let you read it because I'm still under the rules of YouTube, which say that I must not contradict anything that the World Health Organization says. Is what I want to say about that. So what they're saying, they're not saying that the vaccine caused this number of deaths. This is me here not saying that. What they're saying is that they calculated each excess death per injection, including boosters. Now, this is interesting too, is that they found higher deaths associated with age, which we knew, but also, this is strange, higher deaths associated with people living in poverty. Now, that's interesting to think about. Why would people living in poverty be more prone to excess deaths? It could be to access to healthy behaviors like gyms or healthier food or healthier living environments. We know from Bjorn Lomborg's research that people who are wealthier live with less respiratory diseases because they have better ventilation. Could be a number of factors, right? But poverty is kind of a new one. I don't think we've talked about that very much in the deaths around the pandemic. Now, what researchers say is that when you actually study pandemic deaths, you cannot conclude that they were caused by a respiratory virus. Take a look at this. It said these things allow us to conclude that the COVID period during 2020 and 2023, excess all-cause mortality in the world is incompatible with a pandemic viral respiratory disease as primary cause of death. So it has to be something else causing diseases, right? And so what we know is that the vaccine rollout did not stop the spread of COVID. We have no data that it slowed down respiration or deaths, or I'm sorry, hospitalization or deaths. So why does the media always tell us that vaccines save lives? Well, we showed you the two major studies that they use for this on the CDC, the New York Times. Everybody uses these two studies. This one, first, only shows the vaccine and low rates of intubation and death. And again, this is a very strange study because it compared the original COVID vaccine with rates of death and ventilation on mechanical ventilators during the Omicron wave, which was weird because the original COVID vaccine was not made for Omicron, so it's strange. Also, they studied immunocompetent people, immunoincompetent people, but they don't account for previous infection, which is a huge omission because we know that previous infection provides superior immunity, and even their own results here suggested that protection wanes. So it was only, so we can't really, again, call these vaccines because it's such limited time frame. Also, the media uses this study published just last year that estimates the number of lives saved by the COVID vaccine. This study, to my mind, proves nothing. What they did was took expected deaths numbers from their own math models and then said, because we never reached the number we pulled out of our butts, that means the vaccine did that. And again, this study that I'm showing you here was funded by the WHO. Read it for yourself. So given that more and more research is coming out showing that the vaccine did not do the things that they said it would, and did do things that they're saying it didn't, maybe we can expect some apologies or something. One other thing I found interesting from this study that we're talking about today is that it blows up this whole protect the elderly bit, because take a look at this. It says that there was an increase, again, this is tentative conclusion, that there was an increase with age and excess all-cause mortality by population consistent with age-dominant frailty rather than infection and the limit of high virulence. So we didn't protect old people. In fact, we hurt them more. But we were told we were doing all those things to protect old people. So that's weird, right? Even with all of this, you guys, even with all this data that is damning to my mind, the WHO still this week said that everyone needs to get a COVID vaccine every 12 months. This is Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove from the WHO speaking about the COVID vaccine in the United Nations this week. This week. It's unbelievable that someone would have the balls to do this. She says that COVID cases are high, and here's what we all have to do.
It is important to take measures to reduce risk of infection and severe disease, including ensuring that you have had a COVID-19 vaccination dose in the last 12 months, especially if you are in an at-risk group. Over the last 2 years, we've seen an alarming decline in vaccination coverage, especially among health workers and people over 60, two of the most at-risk groups. This urgently needs to be turned around.
Okay, so does she say that COVID is killing or hospitalizing more people? No. Does she say that a COVID vaccine will stop these things? No. In fact, the press release around this appearance said that, well, if you don't get it, then the virus could mutate and then that could be more dangerous. But it doesn't make any sense because the vaccine doesn't stop the virus from spreading. So it will keep spreading and mutating, but who is this a problem for, that people are not getting the COVID vaccine? I don't see it as a problem for the general population. Could it be a problem for the WHO?
Could it be a problem
And
for
the
Big
people
Pharma?
who fund it? Yeah,
of course.
Anyway, let us know what you think of that. They're still trying to push this on. It's not like, oh, you guys, COVID's old news. Clearly it's not. They're still saying this stuff even as more and more damning research comes out.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Salawam to those for elect preaching His word in truth and sincerity. To you ribs, to you sisters out there, learning in silence and staying in order, I say to you all, Shalom. Right, as you saw, Redacted, it's a good podcast. We all knew about this C-19 vaccine situation, right? And now they're coming out with a lot of studies, and we watched this documentary called Died Suddenly in 2022. Everybody should watch this. It goes more into it as to like what happens to the body right after you die if they find these things inside of you, right? We call this Squid Games. It's funny though, look at how many I guess these are likes, right? 666. I think that's pretty funny. But yeah, man, let me see if I could put a little clip up here from this documentary.
Let us shoot.
Her, I can't remember. Some could say in
Civil that this reported in the VAERS system.
The clots became worse, and each person, the quantity of them was much larger, and they were getting larger. We were doing an injection and drainage into the common carotid artery, and we were getting fluid in, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. We could not get any more fluid. We were not getting any drainage of any type.
Oh, look at it. Oh, watch out. It's going to squirt. That's a monster. Holy Jesus. Come on.
I believe the only way that a medical doctor could see this in the body is if they actually went internally into the body.
So this is coming out of a beating heart, all right? Look at this, tell me if it looks the same way.
so good for you to come in today. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Doc.
So I'm excited to get the scan, but before we do that, I want to
Yeah,
learn a
I'm not
little
gonna
bit
go
more
too,
about your
I'm not
medical.
gonna go too deep into this documentary because I don't want to get a strike, man. Where if you haven't received it, the jab, man, well, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai for that. Man, a lot of people lost jobs and things of that nature. Like I said, my rib lost her job. She had to relocate and stuff because you know, they wasn't letting her, you know, express her freedom of religion, right? She tried to put into it and everything, but she got denied. And they made her feel like, you know, she was the enemy, man, of the state because she wouldn't take it. All right, this is Job chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Right? And a physician is supposed to heal you. Right? But they told us lies, man. They said that this is supposed to help you. It's supposed to lower your chances of death, but it actually increased it. You know, Esau got to pay for this, man. And this is the nature of the beast, man. Always tells you one thing and something else happens, man. You know, shakes your hand with one hand and has a knife in the other hand. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travailing upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape, right? You know, speaking on this subject here, man, you know, when they give you something supposed to heal you, they lie to you. All of a sudden, man, you think that, you know, you could rely on these physicians, on these doctors, you know, because they got a degree or whatnot, right? And then you realize that you took it for nothing, because now you're in more danger than you was initially, right? They did not regard the old or the young. This is Esau, man. More old people died than anything, right? And why is that? Why would it benefit the society for the old people to die, right? Because they all had lived their lives, right? They are all on Social Security. They can no longer benefit the society. So getting rid of old people brings money back in because you're not paying out to these people, right? This is what insurance companies do. They deny you, right, your rights to have your money, right, by loopholes, man. And Esau is no different, man. Esau says, look, we got this problem. Here's a solution, right? We got this debt. Get rid of some debt. Get rid of some undesirables, right? Because they said that it was targeting poor people as well. So now we're gonna target the undesirables, right? The young, the old, the lame, the maimed, the one that cannot basically work, the ones who are giving the country headaches, who go against the government. These are the people they want to target, right? But it's all coming out now. This is the "we told you so," you know, and we laugh, man. We laugh because we warned you, and now you wanted to, go against people that told you the truth, and now you're scared. You know, if you're not Israel and you took the jab, man, and you scoffed, I pray that haunts you for the rest of your life. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching His word and truth, sincerity, and to you, rib, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom.